The FBI and U.S. Border Patrol officials say they continue to see an increase in crimes involving the kidnapping for ransom, extortion, abuse, and other crimes against illegal aliens who have paid human smugglers to bring them across the U.S.-Mexico border. Also falling prey to the local gangs behind these crimes are the family members of those immigrants who are in the United States or in the country of origin. This comes as a result of not enforcing the law. We're actually allowing people to come across the border, enticing them by being lax in the enforcement of law, and they become victims. Is this compassion? We're told that, being compassionate is letting people come across the border. But look at how these individuals are becoming victims of crime. Here to talk about this and more is Congressman Brian Babin. He is the co-chair of the Border Security Caucus. He serves the 36th Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Babin, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you very much, Tony. It's always a great pleasure to be with you.
Well, I want to get to the letter that you sent to the Secretary of Homeland Security, Secretary Mayorkas, but first, your thoughts on this report from the FBI that there is an increase in crimes against these illegal aliens coming into the country. I mean, we're told all the time as conservatives, you got to be compassionate, as if not enforcing the law is compassionate. Actually, enforcing the law is the compassionate thing to do, because then you won't have these victims.
You could not be more correct there, Tony. This administration is part and party to an enormous international crime syndicate. There's no question about it. Sex trafficking, human trafficking, we've got drugs. It's one thing after the other. And is it any surprise that now the FBI is finding out that rival gangs are fighting and competing over a ransom for the people that they're trafficking into the United States? And all I can say is that the Biden administration is absolutely part of this enormous crime syndicate. They have enabled the cartels. They have enabled not only the cartels, but small time operators. If you look into this a little bit further, this kind of stuff goes on all over the place. Dead bodies found. We've got ranchers. We've got families, Texans, people that live on the southern border, in all of the southern states, not just Texans, that are having to put up with this out of control border where people come up to their ranches, come up to their houses, break in if they're not there, demand this, demand that. And quite frankly, the same with people that are hunting. I know several people, good friends, who have ranches down there they hunt on, and they can't keep their cattle in, they can't keep their belongings in place, and quite frankly, the Biden administration is responsible for every bit of this thing, Tony. And one other thing, if you don't mind my saying, my heart goes out to this Texas Army National Guardsman that lost his life trying to save a couple of migrants. I'm a former National Guardsman myself from Texas. And when Jen Psaki in the White House was asked if they had any responsibility for the loss of this guardsman, she distanced herself from that and said, these guardsmen are down there at the behest of the governor of the state of Texas. And as if they have nothing to do with this, when in reality, they have everything to do with this. Those National Guard troops would not be down there right now.
Right.
We would not have these dead bodies. We would not have these ransoms going on and 100,000 plus overdose deaths, a year from the fentanyl that comes across, if it wasn't for this out of control situation that we have absolutely because of the Biden administration.
I actually have that clip of Jen Psaki responding to that question. Clip 7, please.
Well, of course, we are mourning the loss of his life, and we are grateful for the work of every National Guardsman. I would note that the National Guard work for the states, and so he is an employee of the Texas National Guard, and his efforts and his operation were directed by there, not by the federal government in this effort, in this apparatus.
As you pointed out, they wouldn't need to be there. The federal government was doing its job. But I want to go back to this point of, I don't think people fully understand. You come across the border illegally, and you really got to kind of hide out. So if you become the target of one of these gangs, you're not going to pick up the phone and call the police. You are a prime target for others who break the law. So what we're creating, this domino effect by not enforcing the law, enticing people to break it and come across the border, and then become victims themselves by others who are taking advantage of their situation. Now, you led about 100 Republican members of Congress as the co-chair of the Border Security Caucus in a letter to Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas that said, quote, he said his failure to secure the border and enforce laws passed by Congress raised grave concerns about your suitability for office. What do you mean by that?
The man has defied court orders. He has refused to honor and his commitment, his oath of office to uphold the Constitution. He was appointed as Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security by the President, and his oath of office says that he has to do a job. And that job is to secure our border. He has done everything other than secure our border. You know, it's tough. It's tough to undo a secure border. But Mr. Mayorkas, Secretary Mayorkas, has been very ably undoing our secure border in less than a year, in just a matter of months. He has erased our border. We have no more interior enforcement, or very, very little. He's done away with the construction of the border wall. That is an Article I power. That was money that was funded and directed by the U.S. Congress. He's ignored that. He has defied the federal courts. Yes, sir.
Congressman Babin, we're going to leave it there. I'm out of time, but we'll continue the conversation.